There's a story that's making the rounds on the BBC website, and it's thought to be a landmark case that is the first of its kind in the world. I'm going to read out the first few paragraphs. It's not overly long, so if you just bear with me. An 8-month-old Canadian baby has been issued a health card without a gender marker in what could be the first case in the world. Parents Corey Doty, a non-binary transgender person who identifies as neither male or female, aims to allow the child to discover their own gender. The health card has been issued with a U in the space for sex, which could be for undetermined or unassigned. Corey Doughty is fighting to omit the gender from the birth certificate. The parent gave birth to Cyril Atlee in November at a friend's house in British Columbia. Corey Doughty, who prefers to use the pronoun they, argues that a visual inspection at birth is unable to determine what gender that person will have or identify with later in life. They want to keep Cyril's sex off all official records. I'm raising Cyril in such a way that until they have a sense of self and command of vocabulary, tell me who they are, I'm recognizing them as a baby and trying to give them all the love and support to be the most whole person they can be outside of the restrictions that come with the boy box and the girl box, the parent was quoted by CBC as saying. Okay, so this baby is 8 months old. The parent has said that they plan to take this approach until they're old enough to form vocabulary or a sense of self. Well, that could be a very long period of time. Vocabulary, obviously, children learn basic words from, it varies from child to child, but from, let's say, two onwards, does vary from child to child. I have to be candid here. I think it's just nonsense. And I'm not the only one. Looking at the BBC thread, pretty much everyone was in agreement. I'm sorry, but when you're born, you're either male or female. Simple as that. It's nothing to do with identity, it's about basic biology. And that's what I have an issue with in this debate. Um, I think it's just reckless. I think it's irresponsible because what this is going to do is, I've no doubt the parent has good intentions. I'm sure they believe that they're doing something that's loving. But in my opinion, it's going to alienate this child. It's going to make them confused. Um, if they have a penis, they're male. If they have a vagina, they're female. So to put it bluntly, but that's biology. The only mitigating thing would be if they had some sort of deformity or very, very occasionally, and this is particularly the case, for example, if you have um, mitigating factors such as chemical poisoning or if there has been a pregnancy in an area with high radiation and then you could get deformities and that sort of thing. But um, I think this is a case of the parents' prerogative, the parents' social politics coming into basic biology. The parent is a non binary transgender person, and clearly they're trying to impose that into the identity of their baby. Um, at what point is common sense going to prevail? You know, I'm very much of the school of thought live and let live. I really have no animosity towards transgender people, and I believe that when someone is an adult, their body, their business. If they want to identify whatever way they want, fine. But I really think this is just irresponsible. Um, I mean, actually, it could be argued this is selfish because this is the parent imposing their social politics on their baby from childhood. To me, this is no different than an overly religious parent trying to brainwash a child from an early age. Um, this isn't brainwashing, but it's confusing the child. I would be more sympathetic if it was a case of okay, the baby is born male or born female, but then the parent says, but you don't have to stick with this sort of identity in a later part of life. But the issue here is it's not about gender identity, it's about basic biological fact. If you have a penis, it doesn't matter if you feel female, if in your mind you feel feminine, That's just biology. It shouldn't be a political issue. It's basic biology. It's not religious dogma. It's not left wing or right wing. It's biology. And I really think this is going in a direction that, firstly, anyone who speaks against it is immediately denounced as a transphobic bigot. We are really getting to the point where common sense is being mitigated for social trends. I really do wonder what the world's going to be like in 50 years. Is it really going to be a case that how far away from common sense are we going to get? So to me, this is just going to confuse a kid. I've no doubt their parent has good intentions, but I do hope it's overruled because the greater good has to be the welfare of the child, and I believe this is going to just confuse them because growing up, they're going to look down, they're going to be in the bathroom, they're going to look down, they're going to think, "What is this thing?" And then they're going to ask their parent, and how is their parent going to answer that? They cannot just say, "Oh, it's up to you to decide." That isn't going to help. They're going to be in the shower. Children wonder about these things. Excuse me. I just think it's nonsense. And I'm not surprised it's Canada. Canada's the world capital of political correctness and virtue signaling. I don't think this is progressive. I'm sorry, but I don't. Tolerance is a very good thing to teach children. So my approach would be, if they're born a boy, that is, if they're biologically male, that's what they are, and female. It's not even a case of the parents is saying um, that they're trying to give them all the love and support to be the most whole person they could be outside the restrictions that come with the boy box and the girl box. But where is the real tolerance here? Is it really society that is being intolerant, or is it this obsession with babies being designated in a certain way? Doctors don't, when a baby is born, they don't decide, "Oh, I'm going to assign this baby male or assign this baby female." They work on the basic biology. It's not that they say, "Oh, well, I'm going to, decide to put some sort of politics into the this." It's just a biological question, and I really think this is getting absurd. So let me know your thoughts. I do think there is when we talk about live and let live, there's two people involved here, and surely, if the parent wants to identify themselves whatever way they want, fine. What you can do, this is the position I take. If you're a transgender person, you have every right to expect to be treated with respect, not to be bullied, not to be discriminated against. But what you cannot do is tell the majority of people to believe something that, frankly, the majority of people simply do not believe. The vast majority of people, most people are going to be too polite to say it, but I really do think that the reason there's a different attitude to this from gay issues is that when we're talking about sexual orientation, that is something that's existed since the dawn of time. With the transgender issue, I really, really do think that it is a more, I'm not going to say it's a totally new thing. You could probably find examples in different cultures throughout history, but the politicization of it is definitely something that's recent. And I think when it gets to the point where you get the regressive left trying to enact legislation that makes it a criminal offense to misgender someone, it's frankly a big brother society. And I'm really not surprised this is Canada, but that's my view. So, yeah, live and let live, but do not impose your politics on a child. If this child was born biologically male, that's what he is. If she was born biologically female, that's what she is. Don't confuse the child. That's not the parent, I'm sure, has good intentions, but I'm sure they came out as transgender as an adult. I'm very much of the view that this is something that needs to be determined as an adult. I mean, most transgender people would even agree with that because they recognize how complex this is. That's my view. Call me a bigot, whatever. I know that the majority of people, there is a consensus on this that it's getting to the point where it is simply going against common sense. 50 years from now, we might all be wrong, but for now, it's just a case of basic biology. Let me know your thoughts. Thanks for watching.